We are looking at a Train XV system. So this is a heat pump, maybe dual fuel. They got a furnace. Yeah, I'm sitting here. That thing's running downstairs. Breathing that in. Anyway, so the complaint on this one was noise. So the thermostat is off. She says this thing makes a whining noise when it runs. These units are typically very quiet when they run. So right now I have it off. I don't have any alert codes or anything, but I have seen this complaint a couple of times before, and typically it's coming from the condenser fan motor. It gets a little whine in it. It's a variable speed fan motor right there in this thing, and it's not like it's a 2, 3, 4 stage where it just goes from one speed to another. These fan motors and these things modulate with the compressor, so that fan motor will run anywhere from 25-30% up to 100% and any speed in between to match the compressor. Indoor blower does the same thing, make sure everything's running at the same capacity. So that's why these things are great for dehumidification. There we go. That thing's shut off. So what I want to do is I want to go in here and run the fan test and see if I can get it to recreate that way. So I'll go down here, and I don't know how well you can read that screen. Go to the control menu and run the outdoor fan test. Now, to run the outdoor fan test, the thermostat has to be off, or it can't be in a current call for operation. So we'll hit enter and see what happens with this thing. Yeah. See, it shouldn't sound like that. I don't know how well you can hear that. She said she can hear this thing when she's on the back porch, on the front porch, but that motor should not whine like that. It should be really, really quiet, and you see how close these houses are together, and they're big 2-story houses, so it just echoes that sound against these walls, and it makes it sound even louder, like a little sound tunnel through here. So I'm gonna stop the fan test. So that motor shouldn't sound like that at all. So we are gonna replace one. Alright, so first thing we gotta do is get the top off of this thing. And when you're replacing one of these, obviously, the handle is missing from her disconnect there. And it really should have that cover in it as well. What's the other one look like? See, that one's got the cover in it. Don't want some kid to come up here and open it and stick their fingers in there. That wouldn't be good. So we may recommend replacing that. And then you gotta wait for this thing to discharge. And this thing is about 400 volts DC when it's at full charge. So you gotta wait for it to discharge. Eventually that's gonna go blank. And once that display goes blank, light will go out, display is now blank. We're discharged. There are 2 test points down here at the bottom where you want to take a meter and just confirm that you are down below 40 volts DC. It's somewhere on the warning here. I think you want to check it, but by the time you, yeah, 42 volts and below. But we're going to check it real quick and confirm that we have discharged. So we are at 4.7 volts DC. Now it's safe to work on it. So you unplug. This is your high voltage plug that goes right there for the motor. And this is going to be your, I have to use both ends to get that apart, but this is going to be your communications between the drive and the motor. Voltage back and forth, up, down, modulates the speed. And then your ground wire right there. And then let's get the top off. I've got to find a place where I can set this thing down. These houses are kind of close together. Probably do it back here behind me. So we're going to move over here. And these houses are kind of close together, and I don't want to lay it on top of these stone pavers that they have and scratch anything up. So we're going to do it right here in the mulch. Tripod opened up. And get started. Not really that hard to swap one of these out. That comes right off. The new motor does come with the new Liquid-Tight on it. Because if you try to do that, these wires, that plug will not slide back through here. So they do send the motor with your new Seal-Tight on it. Cover off. It'll be easy with these screws. Don't strip them out. Don't mess them up because they do not send new screws with the new motor. And these screws are going to self-tap back into the holes in the new motor. There. All right, so there's the old one. Here is the new one. Warranty claim. Ah, they did. They sent new screws with this one. I'm lucky enough to get new screws with it. I typically will keep the old ones in case I run into a situation where I need them. I'm going to make sure that that is all the way on there to keep water out of this thing, because water and these motors do not mix. When I put this top on, I want this coming back across here. The fun part is getting the holes lined up. And at least getting the first screw in. One right there, right above that sticker. Right there. Once you get the first one in and snug it, get the one opposite, and they're lined up. Now once you snug them, stop with the drill. Because if you keep going, trying to go and getting in it wide open, you'll strip it. You'll strip the hole out and you're done. So I kind of get them where I want them. And then I go back with a nut driver and snug them down. Because if you try to go all the way down with your impact, you're going to strip the holes out, and then you're pretty much no good at that point. You're going to have to get another motor. Just lined up. On. Fan blade on there tight. And let's put it back on. All right, let's get the top back on. Right. Get our screws back in. And hopefully this will be a little quieter than the other one. 2019, so it's one we put in about 5 years ago. So I don't run into it a lot, but I've probably in all the XV systems we've put a bunch of them in. We've probably put in 300 of these things over the last 6 or 7 years at least, but I've only seen that a couple of times, but I remember it enough that when I hear a homeowner describe it, I'm pretty sure it's the fan motor. Let's get our disc back on, our little cover for the top. This is a XV18, not an XV20. The 20 comes with the weather guard hard shell top, the plastic top with the side air discharge. So same motor. You get the disconnect power back on. Get in there. And get all that done and sit over here now and fight with this thing. Come on. There we go. Must have been hung up on something. Alrighty, so now everything's going to reestablish communications with the indoor unit, the thermostat, and then we'll run it back through a test, and it'll show that soft lockout temporarily while it's reestablishing communications. And it's going to just reset the stepper motor for the EEV, and then once it shows standby, we'll go back into our control menu and turn the fan on, see what it sounds like. All that racket technology, guys. You gotta love it. Waiting for communications. And typically it's the thermostat, because this trained thermostats when they redoing all that. If you ever turn the power off at the indoor unit, that thing's like old dial-up internet, sitting there waiting for it to reconnect and recommunicate. Little thing on it spinning and spinning and spinning. You'd think that once the thing's been installed and been set up and it's had power and ran, that those thermostats wouldn't have to reboot like that and redo all that mess every time you turn the power off, but they do. Alright, control fan test. Let's see what it sounds like. That's normal. So that's what it should sound like. So anyway, you got any XV units out there and the homeowner's complaining about a squealing noise when it's running, but it's heating and it's cooling properly, that's where you start at. Anyway guys, appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.